the mental game is the same, Anton, right? The physicality might be somewhat different, but the mental game is where it's really hard. I mean, the physical part, we deal with that, we figure it out, but the mental game, it's the same for all of us because we have some decisions to make that one doesn't equate another. 1 + 1 does not equal 2 at all, not even close. And once you start having a vision like that and realize that everybody is equal in that 1 + 1 = 3, now you start to understand that we all have something in common. Nobody is worse off and nobody's better off. That we all need to come together and help each other out. And that once you start understanding the concept behind that 1 + 1 equation and the broader vision behind that and how that equals such a broader number, 1 + 1 = infinity for me, because there's so many people help me out. It's such a broad way to look at leadership and to be proactive. I know that people will help when they're asked. Will they help when they're not?
Welcome to the Find Your Influence podcast with Anton Guinea, where we unpack all things influence and we help leaders particularly find their influence by talking to amazing humans and finding out what influence means to them, who they've been influenced by and who they have influenced. And this podcast episode, proudly sponsored by the Guinea Group of companies. The Guinea Group helps leaders upgrade, upskill, uplift their teams and their influence. And business owner known for translating adversity into practical leadership and safety lessons for organizations operating under real pressure. Nothing like leadership under pressure. It's a great topic. After a life-altering workplace accident at the age of 27, when a 2,000-pound bale of hay shattered Chad's neck and left him a quadriplegic, he rebuilt his career around helping leaders and frontline teams create resilient cultures and strengthen their accountability and make better decisions when time, risk, and the stakes are high. His work sits at the intersection of leadership development, workplace safety, change, and personal responsibility. Chad delivers his story through powerful keynotes, which are designed to leave audience with action, not just inspiration. Through Chad Hymas Communications, Chad's actually spent more than 2 decades speaking and consulting for corporate, for government, for associations, including safety-conscious industries such as construction, manufacturing, and healthcare. Chad's programs focus on building trust and collaboration in leaders, reinforcing safety behaviors that prevent incidents and equipping teams to handle disruption without losing performance. And if you know my background, and most listeners will, I was obviously badly injured, nothing like Chad. So I get what a life-changing experience it is. Let's hear from Chad how life-changing it was. We are a sponsored podcast. Chad Hymas, was that everything? Was there anything else that I need to put into that intro?
No, I think you did, yeah. You said a lot. It's great.
Cool. Mate, just for our listeners and our viewers, Chad, are you able to take us back to sort of the age of 27, mate, before your life changed? Is that all right? So put us in the picture.
Sure. Yeah, no, I was Shondell and I. Shondell's my wife's name. We moved out of the city and went to a very rural area, mountainous terrain, and always had the dream of having a ranch, a kind of a wildlife game preserve. So kind of like the crocodile hunter without crocodiles. That was really preserving land and preserving wildlife and having that be my. So I've always wanted to be a hunting guide and let people enjoy those animals. I didn't have the money to buy the ground for that preservation when I was 21. So I started a construction company in the valley in Salt Lake in the city. And then I would just commute back and forth about an hour and 15 minutes from the ranch where we were building to work every day. And that was a construction company that I owned and operated. And so, there was double duty and a lot of just kind of a contractor by day and a farmer by night mentality. And we built that for 6 years and we were able to buy some ground with the income from that. And 6 years into that, I did make a mental mistake that was transitional and pivotal when I ignored the warning sign on my tractor, the red hydraulic sign. And as you mentioned earlier, that bale of hay that weighs more than any vehicle rolled over backwards because there wasn't enough oil in the hoses to hold the bale in place. And she landed right on my head, punched it to the steering wheel, and the shaft went through my mouth and broke everything in its path. So this is, kind kind of miraculous. It's not. It's very miraculous. I don't have an answer for why some make it and some don't. I do believe that there's somebody that knows better than I do as to why that happens in our lives. But I, for whatever reason, was able to stay and live through that. I was found 48 minutes later because I wasn't answering my cell phone. So Shondell came looking for me. She had the 2 kids in their car seats in her vehicle with her, and she had to look at that. So she had to see the bale on the tractor. She saw all the blood on the desert dirt farm floor and all the blood on the right front tire of the tractor. And so she had to witness all that, and she felt that I was gone. I was still breathing through blood pockets in my nose. So I could hear, I was fully conscious. I was coming in and out. I was coming in and out of consciousness, and I wasn't going to last much longer. It was suffocation and just coming in and out of consciousness, and out where we live out in the boondocks. So this is not like Sydney or Brisbane or Perth, or this is Kalgoorlie. It's not even Kalgoorlie. Kalgoorlie is more city. This is there's no gas stations where we live. There's no fire station. These are natives, right? These are native cowboys, native countrymen that got the call on their pagers that came to my rescue.
Wow.
So these are natives that showed up and with all their might lifted that bell off my body, cut the shaft off with a sawzall, taped it to my mouth so I wouldn't bleed out, and a helicopter landed and flew me into Salt Lake for what was through, I would wake up several months later. So that's what happened.
Holy shit, Chad.
So that's the incident, and the rest is kind of transpired. So, that's been 26 years, and those same 2 boys are still a very intricate part of our life. They're both married and have children of their own, and we've adopted 2 more. So there's more to the story. But so we have a daughter that's in college at university,
Wow.
and we have and she's from Guatemala. She comes from another country, and we have a son from another country as well, from Ethiopia, and he's the last one that's at home, and he's still in high school and will be graduating in about a year. So, that said, that's kind of where things pivoted for me, and I had to make some decisions as to what was I going to do. So you are right when you say, I lost some things. I lost my legs. I am in a push chair, but I don't have my legs. I don't have my midsection. I don't have my stomach. I don't have my hands. They're curled on both sides, but I use mountain bike tires to push, and I use friction, and that's how I get around. I'd rather do that than be in a power chair. So I'm one of the very few, if not the only one, that does that, and I do travel by myself. Right. And I'm not saying that to be a braggart. I just take a lot of pride in traveling alone. I still don't like to be under the direction or have to listen to. It's called pride, I think. I just don't like to have to listen to the people or have to have someone tell me when it's time to go or when it's time to get dressed or when it's time. I just don't like it that much. So I like to travel alone and be on my own schedule, my own clock, and do my own thing, and not have to have someone there to kind of, direct traffic. I kind of like to direct traffic myself.
Good on you, Chad.
Anyway, I don't think that's different than most people. Most people like to direct traffic for their own life.
I think so. I think if you reframed it, you'd call it independence, Chad.
Yeah. And the truth is, I'm not independent. So the more dependent I am on people like you to help me, which I control that, the more independent I become. So I am not independent. I am completely dependent on the help of others, and they're called strangers.
Yeah, right.
They're complete strangers.
Wow.
And I decide who those strangers are.
Oh, wow.
And there's several, at least a couple of dozen that help me out every day of my life. And I never know who it's going to be.
Whoa.
When I'm traveling, when I'm home, they're not, it's my kids help me out with a lot of stuff. They're, even though they have families of their own, they moved and but they're close by. And my wife is obviously still here. And so,
wow.
Yeah, we still live on the ranch and I've grown that, but now I farm differently. I farm people instead of the preserve, although we do have the preserve, and that's where we hold our masterminds. Your audience will have to look it up. It's called Royal Creek Ranches, ROYAL Creek, CREEK Ranches, RANCHES, Royal Creek Ranches. Check it out. So we do our leadership retreats. We lodge people there. I do a lot of mastermind groups there, safety summits. So we do a lot there at the
Beautiful,
ranch.
Chad. We'll put a link to that as well for some
Oh yeah, just put a link right here on the
Done
podcast.
for some of our United States viewers as well who might want to come and see you speak and be part of those and bring their organisations or their teams out to the ranch. Mate, what a heck of a story. Thank you so much thanks for sharing that with our audience.
No, you're good. That hopefully gives you some background anyway.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. And such a beautiful, I've seen some of your videos and the way you talk about your family and your boys and just how, important they are. I've got 2 boys as well, 27 and 28. And, they're a big part of our lives, Chad, and we wouldn't be who we are without them.
They are. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I would be lost without them for sure. I would not want to be in existence if it wasn't for, I'm just saying that they were my saving grace. Don't get me wrong, Shondell was a big part of that, but there's just something about those boys that they, and Shondell's been phenomenal, magnificent. In the States, we just celebrated Mother's Day yesterday. So that's a big thing for us and for our family. And we don't want to discredit Shondell at all, but I don't really like to have Shondell's help. And that's because I'm married to her. So the boys kind of have recognized that and they kind of step in and say, Dad, we got you covered, and I'm not married to my boys. I'm married to my wife. And I think I said, for better or for worse, that was just lip service. You kind of get that. I'm being honest. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do that for her. I'm just saying that Anton, let me ask you a question. Are you married?
Very much so. 32 years.
All right. Would you like to have your wife wipe you?
Mate, it'd be terrible, Chad. It'd be tough.
Would you like to have her help you shower?
It'd be tough.
Would you like to have her help you get dressed, brush your teeth, bring your food to you, be your servant, be your helpmeet? I know that we sign up for that. I know we agree to that. I know that there's a lot of gratitude there, and there is. But I'm just saying, when you live it, it does put tension in that relationship. It does. I have allowed it. I have allowed it to put tension, and my wife's not tensious at all. She's not confrontational. She's very humble, very meek, very, very spiritual by nature, very religious, very God-fearing, very biblical. Shondell is all of those things. I'm not saying that I'm not all of those things. I am a believer, but I'm also the one that is the recipient of a lot of her help. And in my mind, in a man's role, a man is to take care of his wife. You can call me old-fashioned, maybe that's what it is, but I am to take care of her, not the other way around. So when you receive those kind of services like wiping and showering and shaving and haircuts and deodorant and all those things, it's difficult to have a romantic relationship. It's difficult to I'm just saying, it's difficult to separate the two. It's hard to do that. For Chad Hymas, it is. Others might be better than me and they can do it, and kudos to them. And I don't want to take away from, but for me, I still, I still think about those things. And Shondell and I have a great relationship. That's great. But to tell you that I've got it mentally mastered would be a lie. There's something called, mental awareness. And I always thought that was a fluke. Right. I always thought that was kind of a, mental awareness, men's mental health. I've always thought that was kind of a charade.
Wow.
Kind of a facade. That's all. Just some sort of some name to get people to wake up. And now that I've gone through it in my life, I totally understand it. There is a such thing as men's mental health. There is a such thing as depression. There is a such thing as suicidal thoughts. There is a such thing as currently in 2026, there are more suicides in the world today than there ever has been in the ages of 15 to 55 for males. The suicide rate has never been higher. That is true. Those are all facts. That's not chat. That's not Claude. That's not AI. That is a fact. And so, I'm a very strong advocate for men's mental health because I live it.
Beautiful.
So, and I understand. I've had a lot of people that I have known that have taken their life and chose to not stay because and I would never judge them for that. Not for me to judge that. I have had those thoughts and I understand that. And so there is a such thing as recognizing that you need help and recognize there's power in surrendering. And when I surrender to Shondell, and surrender doesn't mean that I have to do everything he says. That's not that she's that way anyway, but when I surrender and realize that it's not all about me, then we're happier. She's happier. We're miserable when she's sad. That's, when I've hurt her or I've said something mean to her or I've belittled her or degraded her or pushed her away, or how about just gone quiet because I don't like her help. Right. So I just shut right up. I just shut down. Everything just shuts down. And I don't say one word and I don't want to say anything. that hurts her. So I don't want to do that. I just trying to figure out how to get through, figure that all out.
Wow.
So when you made all those nice things and you said about me in the beginning, I do want to say thank you for that. But if we want to get to the root cause of what you said, maybe with me traveling the last 26 years, going to Australia a lot, I mean, traveling worldly, going to 89 countries, I've kind of been running away from some of my challenges because when I'm traveling, I'm not at home and I travel alone and I depend on strangers to help me and different people. So now that I'm getting a little older, I still travel and I travel frequently, but we also had this one little boy left at home and I'm at home a little bit more. And Shondell's asked me to be at home a little bit more. So I'm kind of reliving that and facing that all over again, midlife crisis. Although I don't a crisis, but I'm trying to have to learn some things that I've been teaching for 26 years. Now I got to try and implement that. So I really appreciate those nice things you said about me, Anton. That's really nice, and I'm grateful for that. And they're not false statements. You didn't lie about them, but if you really want to recognize the true heroes, it's not me. It's the people that have helped me get on an airplane. It's the people that have helped me get off of the airplane in Sydney and transfer over to the airplane, taking me across country to Perth, and then getting on a private jet to Kalgoorlie, where the mines are at, where I'll spend 20 days at the mine site talking to the guys around the clock, because they're there for 20 days on, 20 days off. I mean, that's how it works in Kalgoorlie. Yep. So I'm just, it's all these people that come together that help me out.
Wow.
That we don't pre-plan that. It's not because a client would never hire me if they knew they had to have 27, 28 people. So I just find strangers to help me get on the plane. I find strangers to help me get off and I just ask. Or half the time I don't even have to. People just offer. So that's kind of how it works.
Thank you for sharing, Chad. I think you're right. I think it's easy to overlook just some of the challenges that you've had when, you have success and people don't look, you never see what is going on behind the scenes and you never see how hard success is. It's the hours that we don't see that make the hours that we do see possible, and those hours that we don't see are extremely difficult at times, I'm sure. So
it's the building hours. It's the mental hours, mental toughness, right? People see the stage and they always want the stage, but you can't have the stage without the background. You can't have the stage without the preparation. You can't have the stage without getting dressed. Otherwise it'd be a naked meeting and no one's going to come to a naked meeting, right? So there's so many things that happen for me to just get to the stage. So many things. If a meeting starts at 8 o'clock and I'm up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Takes that long, Chad.
So, well, it's getting dressed. Yeah. If you don't have no hands, you should try it. You should duct tape your hands together and get yourself dressed by it with no hands. Just duct tape your hands. Yep. Curl your fingers, just duct tape them, and you get your shirt on. And you get your pants on, get your shoes on, and brush your teeth and shave. And shave your head because your balls are going to shave and do all that stuff. I'm just saying, do it all. Do everything. And you see how long that takes you. And keep in mind, you've got the use of your stomach. You've got the use of your legs. I have none of that. I have no arms. The arm movement I have is shoulder. I got shoulders. But I can't move my fingers. I can't even move my wrist. My wrist just hangs there. So I just use gravity. So I just learned to use gravity. So again, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying this is real life. This is no biceps, no triceps, no external, no internal wrist, no finger movement at all. And I'm not saying that for pity's sake. The less you have, the less balance you have when you're sitting on a bed. So you gotta really keep yourself upright and keep that shirt on. And so that's why I'm wearing clothes that you can see that are very loose in nature. No buttons. A zipper I can grab with my teeth. I mean, it's very, very loose, so I can slip it on. I'm wearing very loose pants, slip-on shoes, a wheelchair that has knobs on it, so I can push. The wheelchair weighs 20 pounds. It's very lightweight. So, I push it. I'm in the office right now, but I can go out and wheel down the asphalt road. We live on a ranch. My son works with me. He's constantly doing his own thing, but, there's times I need his help to, he'll grab me some lunch or something. And, it's just kind of there just to help me out. But he's busy. He's got his own stuff to do too. So
holy shit.
It's just kind of how my life works.
Holy shit, Chad. And I was worried last week when I hurt my knee. It's always, sometimes you've just sort of got to get out of your own head, haven't you, and understand what the challenges are for others.
Well, I'm really grateful for people. So maybe that's why I like to be around them, because I'm happiest when I'm around them. I like being out and about with people. That's when I seem to be doing the best. in my life.
Were you always an extrovert, Chad, before obviously that?
I think so. I mean, I don't know that I was an introvert. I love youth. I love young people. I say that because I work with the young people in our church. I love that. I love building relationships. I loved building the construction company that we had before, and that was fun. And I loved coaching my kids in ball. That was after the accident. So, I think that there was a part of me that I think I become more introverted after the accident. Don't get me wrong, I like the stage and I like spending time with people, but there's a part of me that I don't, when I come to Sydney or Brisbane, or if I'm going to Perth, I'm not going there to sightsee. I'm not going to the park in Perth. They have a nice park, and all the birds and the kangaroos and cockatoos and all that there. I get scared that somebody's not going to see me. They're going to, I'm by myself. So, I don't like to go anywhere unless I'm in a car. I got somebody with me that's there for protection, and so I don't go sightseeing unless I'm with the kids, or if we're going to Disneyland or taking the kids on a trip or on a cruise. I've always got the kids with me. I've always got, Ace or Kyler. If the boys are with me, I'm good. So Gracie's my daughter. They're all good. Shondell, if I got somebody with me, I'm good. But I also like to be alone too. I like to be left alone. And so they'll keep kind of a close eye, and I'm always just a phone call away. They've got kind of me strapped to a phone in case I have a problem. So there's a lot of times I'm home alone, but my kids are always a phone call away. I know that. So if I get myself in trouble, which I've gotten myself in trouble, or I've fallen off the bed, or I've dropped something, or I've needed something, or, I might be choking on side, whatever it might be. They're just a phone call away, and they get here quick and they'll help me out. That doesn't happen very often. Maybe once, I don't know, once a year maybe. But I really try not to bother them, too much with stuff like that. But Shondell, Shondell's helping me like all the time, right? Like at night when I get up, because I don't wear any external devices. So there's nothing hooked to my bladder. There's nothing hooked to my bowels. My bowels are timed on a clock. So that's every 48 hours on a clock. And then I don't eat when I fly. So my stomach's always empty. I don't care if it's 18 hours to Sydney and then another 5 hours across I will not eat until I land. So my stomach's always empty there, so I don't get sick. But when I'm at home, and I get up every 2 hours to calf, Shondell's helping me with that. So we celebrate Mother's Day yesterday. It's truly an honor. That girl, she won't let me do anything by myself, and I can, but she's up with me. She just gets up and she has it done quick, and she doesn't want me, because it takes me probably 15 minutes if I'm doing it. When I'm at a hotel, about 15 minutes to get up and use the restroom and lay it back down. And I just go to the bathroom in a bottle with a straight cath. So just a catheter that I invented. Shondell gets up and she has it done in 3 minutes. We're done. And she's just fast, just fast. And right back to sleep. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know right or wrong or indifferent, but I just know that she's very, very efficient, very, very quick, very, very, doesn't complain about it. Doesn't, the problem with the person with the complaints is me. I'm the one that kind of lets it get to my head, and I don't know how to fight that stuff off. I've never managed that. So I just got to keep trying to make it day by day. And I don't mean that in a pitiful way. I'm not trying to draw empathy. I'm just saying that I hope there's people out there that can relate to this, that it's not a one thing fix all. It is a journey that we're on, and I haven't mastered it. And I have met some people that have stopped their journey short of their time intentionally. And I don't know that that's the right answer. I don't know that I need to let that be in, God's terms, and let him, finish my work. So I'm not here to be preached either. I hope I didn't offend anybody by saying the word God, but I'll just thank you all for letting me, I get to say what I want to say on a podcast, and thanks for respecting my right to believe in my country what I believe. Just like I should respect what you guys believe in your country, or whatever. In Australia, you're the same as us. You're free. You're one of the few countries. We're one of the very few in the world that get to believe we want to believe. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, atheist, no one better than the other. In America, we still have that right. And once you lose that, you lose all the other rights. And so you have freedom to speak what you want to speak, believe what you want to believe. But there are many countries that don't believe that. So they're told they have to believe, right? So in fact, the majority of countries are like that in the world.
Yeah, right.
So we're very, very lucky to live where we live. So
Yeah, we call ourselves the Lucky Country Chad, and I'm based in a place called Gladstone, which is a little bit up from Brisbane. So we're on what we
Okay,
call the Central Queensland coast. So
cool. I
yeah,
spent a lot of time in Brisbane
yeah,
a couple years back. So,
there you
and
go.
we took the whole family to Brisbane on a tour over there. Our whole family went over there. Just
Nice.
it was cool. Brisbane was awesome for us. So
Did you
yeah, it was
do the
good.
dream world thing and all that sort of stuff?
We did the whole thing. Yeah, we did. There's nothing we missed. We hit the zoo. We hit.
Good.
Went up north. I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
the beaches and stuff up north. It's different
Yeah. No,
name.
up the week Sundays or something, but
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Good
Brisbane's
on you,
gorgeous.
Chad.
So yeah, I love Brisbane. So
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Um,
yeah,
we say in Queensland, Chad, we're beautiful one day and perfect the next. So
there you go. There you
we've
go.
got such a great weather up here,
That's
mate.
great.
Man, I cannot believe this conversation. Most people just get on and say, yeah, just answer the questions, but you've taken us on a journey sort of inside the life of, and you've been really, really honest about some of that stuff that, like when you said, you haven't quite come to grips with it all yet and probably still complain, jeepers creepers. I complain when I've, got a sore finger or I've got, but I can only imagine, I could not imagine you
No,
know,
so
for everyone's
yeah.
benefit, the backstory is I got some bad news last week where I think I might need a new knee. And I've been running and triathloning for 20 years and I was all bitter and twisted about that. And we're trying to line something up with Chad to get this thing
No,
happening.
those are, and I don't think there's one that's when you say there's one that's not worse. Like the mental game is the same, Anton, right? The physicality might be somewhat different, but the mental game is where it's really hard. I mean,
Yeah.
the physical part we deal with that, we figure it out, but the mental game,
Mental.
it's the same for all of us because we have some decisions to make that aren't one doesn't equate another. One plus one does not equal two at all, not even close. And once you start having a vision like that and realize that everybody is equal in that 1 + 1 = 3, now you start to understand that we all have something in common. Nobody is worse off and nobody is better off. That we all need to come together and help each other out. And that once you start understanding the concept behind that 1 + 1 equation and the broader vision behind that and how that equals such a broader number, 1 + 1 = infinity for me because there's so many people that help me out. Just such a broad way to look at leadership and to be proactive. I know that people will help when they're asked. Will they help when they're not? Will you help? Would you proactively go out there and find someone to serve, walk across the street, grab a burger, grab an ice cream for, I don't care, take some dinner over to, maybe pick up their yard, go sit by somebody at lunch that doesn't have any sitting alone, that might be a loner. Do you have the ability to be proactive versus reactive? I know people are genuinely good when they're asked. Right? That's a key component. When we're asked, we'll help. Will you do it when you're not asked? And now we're talking about people that I will hang around with. When someone comes up and says, hey man, I got you covered, and I haven't said a word to them and I haven't met them, I'm sticking right by their side. And the reason why, Anton, they're hard to find. There's not very many of them people. There's not. There's a lot of people that will help when you're asked, but that's reactive, right? That's a reactive person. And reactivity is not bad. That's still acts of kindness. I don't want to take that away from them. That will never be taken away from them. But proactive kindness and proactive service, that's a whole different way to live a life. That's a whole different lifestyle. Wow. That's a life of Mother Teresa. I'm not even Catholic, and that's the kind of life she lived. I mean, that's a life of Diana, Princess Diana, for sure lived that life. She always looking for someone to serve. That's why she was an outcast, because they wanted her to be protected, and wanted her to stay behind gates, and wanted her to. She wanted to go out there and practically serve the poor, and be amongst the people. That Diana was loved for that. She wanted to be one of them. She didn't want to be raised on this higher standard on a bar. So I look at Diana, and I know there's just different people in the world. Martin Luther King's another one. There's several that have done some amazing things that have been proactive versus reactive.
I love that concept, and you've inspired me. I'm probably self-admittedly reactive, happy to help anyone, but I probably, haven't really gone out of my way to find someone to serve and to
That's
give.
something that we can all do right now today, right? Right now we can leave this podcast, and we can send a text message off without someone and say something like this: "Hey there, this is Dad, or this is Uncle Chad. I just listened to a podcast, made me think of you. Just want you to know how much you've meant to me in my life. Hope you have a great day. Better go. Bye." That's it. Now, the next time that kid might be taken back, like, why is Uncle Anton writing me? Like, he never does that. Or why did Uncle Anton tell me that I have self-worth? Why was he thinking about me? You know, and the next time that kid is faced with fear, rejection, uncertainty, doubt, or some sort of challenge, that kid's going to know something. My Anton, he needs me. And that's how they fight that off. That's how they fight it off. It's not some drug. It's not some pill or some medicine or some shot. It's they feel my Uncle Anton, he needs me. He tells me I have worth. That's and that's who they listen to. They're going to hang around those 5 people that stay around them the most. So we have to stay around those people.
Done. I cannot wait to send
it's something very easy for people to do. Get a text message off to somebody, or go home today, different person. Shock the family. Grab some ice cream, grab some sodas, do something different. Take it home and just say, you know what? I realize today that I spend most of my working day away from all of you. I'm not the dad of the house. You guys are. Thanks for taking care of mom. Thanks for taking care of mom. Thanks for taking care of the house. I'm not the dad of the house. You guys are. Hey, right then and there, it holds them to a higher standard. And you don't have to say one word about their bad grades, one word about, some of the challenges they're faced. All you have to do is just recognize something good that they're doing. It'll hold them to a higher standard. You don't have to ask them to make their bed. You don't have to ask them to take the dish to the sink and wash it. They're going to start developing skill sets because they know that you're recognizing that. And that makes them feel good. But yet, all too often, we hammer when they do something wrong, critique, criticize, belittle, degrade, and then we wonder why they never succeed. Well, what have they gone through their whole life? We've always tried to correct them when they've done something wrong, instead of saying, you know what? You got a C? That's pretty good. Good job. I never got a C. I was lucky to get a C. Hey, buddy, nice job. I'm proud of you. I had to cheat to get a C. Good job. I'm proud of you. So, just good job, and keep up the good work. And next time you'll get a B. Thanks for being my inspiration. That's it. Take something and flip it. Take their swear words and flip it. Take their bad behavior and flip it. And it'll hold them to a higher standard.
Flip it.
Do that with your spouse. Do something unexpected for her. Don't wait for Mother's Day to get flowers. Don't wait for a birthday. Don't wait for Valentine's Day. Don't wait for some special holiday. Don't. Just go do something. Grab some dinner and take it home and say, you know what? I had some work to do, and I just want to thank you for being a part of my life. I don't know what else to say. That's all I got to say. We'll leave it at that. Let's have a nice dinner. That's it. So
say thanks.
That's proactive versus reactive, Anton. It's not hard. It is, and it's not how many. It's not how many people do. That's not it at all. Just one sheep. Just find one person and do that. And you do that consistently. Now do it every day. One person. Boy, think of the number of the people that you're going to help raise the bar. And then maybe it's the same person. And so now it kind of adds up. You got to contact these 5 people every day, or every couple of days, or once a week, just to check in. Boy, I'm just telling you, your business will thrive. It grows. Those relationships build. It's unreal. So
thanks, Chad.
People know that you care about them. So
thanks for the prompt.
It's not about working harder, but it's working smarter and giving people value. That's what's kept me busy, Anton. It's not that I'm some great speaker, or that I'm in the Hall of Fame, or that I'm a CSP, or all those things are true. I'm not a good speaker. I'm not a good author. I'm just being I'm just saying it's those things that you talked about that are behind the scenes that people love to have me there for, because I try and add more value than what they're paying for. That's why the ranch is busy. The people love how they feel at the ranch. And I'm trying to pass that legacy on to my kids so that they can grow that probably a lot far better than what I'm doing, because I'm getting older, and, I'm going to need to pass that torch on. And one day I'm not going to be here anymore. So I need them to I shouldn't say I need them. They'll carry on that legacy. I don't even have to tell them to carry it on. They just know to carry it on. They'll just know. So,
Chad, I didn't think we'd be having this conversation this morning. So thank you for the motivation and the kick in the backside to put proactivity as a priority, instead of just being around for people, but actually putting them first. Really, really powerful statements.
There was a movie and a book. We've written several books, but if people want a copy of that for free, I'll give it to them for free. All they got to do is go to Instagram and type in my name, Chad L. Hymas, CHAD, L as in Larry, Hymas, Hymas.
Mm-hmm.
Click follow, and then type in the message, type in Impact 2026, and
Done.
you'll get a free copy of the movie and the book. There's
Done.
several books here, and the movies, you'll get all that stuff. We'll give them to, so you can't get that. You can pay for it on the internet. I don't want you to have to do that. So just have them go to Instagram, type in my name, Chad L. Hymas, click
Mm-hmm.
follow, click message, and type in Impact 2026, and then you'll be able to download it for free. The
You're
link will
amazing.
come right to you. I'm not
And-
looking to
and-
collect their names, their numbers, or anything like that, but they'll have it for free.
And what I'll do, Chad, thank you so much, is I'm going to actually put your Insta handle there. So all people have to do is just click on your Insta handle, then they can get the straight there.
Done. Yeah,
Thank you.
easily done.
Thank you so much, Chad. That's really special of you. Mate, have you ever met a guy called James Wood in Australia?
James Wood, I don't know.
Right. So James Wood's another person, I guess, who had a tragic incident and is a paraplegic, I guess is the right word.
You're right. So he broke his back. So he has his hands.
Correct. He's got his upper body.
He's got his upper body. Yep. He broke his back.
Yeah. And he was lucky enough, Chad, to still have his bladder and bowel functions. And so
That's a big deal. That's a
big
very
deal
big
for him. Big deal.
Absolutely.
Bladder
and bowel control is a big deal.
And I didn't realize, I've done a lot of work with him because I do a lot of work in the safety space as well. And to be around him and to see how his life changed so much. And he talks about having a sore bum every day. Like he said, I'm not supposed to be able to feel it, but I'm in pain 24/7. And when when I'm around
he
people,
sits all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to get on the bed and try my side. I understand that. I can't even feel my butt, but I hate sitting all day long. It drives me nuts. I need to get on the bed. I know it's kind of probably perceived as laziness or I just want to get off my butt. I just want to turn on my side, turn on the fan, let the fan blow some cool air on me or some warm air, and just get off my butt. It's just very, very calming to me. Very, very, very peaceful. Nobody's
Relaxing.
bother me. Just turn on some music or just have the fan blowing on me and get off my butt. I get that. Well, you wouldn't want to sit on your desk chair all day long.
No, that's right. I don't. I stand up. I can't. I couldn't. I couldn't sit down. Chad,
if you were driving, even those that drive truck or drive a bus all day, they gotta get up, move around. They gotta have a break. Or they gotta stand up. So I hate sitting all day. It drives me nuts. If I'm flying, it's better because I'm transferring from one seat to the next. So I'll fly for 5 hours, transfer to the seat, go to the next plane, transfer again a few times. So there's transfers. That helps.
Bit of movement.
But there's nothing like getting on the bed as soon as I get to the hotel. I love that. I love to go right to the bed. So.
And you said you put some music on. What's your favorite music? What do you listen to?
Oh, I listen to all sorts of sappy stuff. I do. I'm kind of a sap. I'm
Are you an 80s tragic?
I'm a rock guy. I do love Def Leppard and AC/DC and that stuff, but that's not the kind of, I don't listen to that. I can listen to Def Leppard all day, every day. But I like to listen to just some soundtracks of some good movies and movie, stuff that'll make me go. Like I'll listen to Titanic, not because of a Titanic, but that music it puts me to sleep.
Nice.
So I'll listen to. There's a show in Vegas called Mystere. It's at Treasure Island. I'll listen to the soundtrack of Mystere. Puts me to sleep. Pearl Harbor puts me to sleep.
Right.
So
beautiful, Chad. Great.
It's a little bit of a sap.
Wow, mate. Can I just ask you one question, just about the topic of the podcast, which is influence? And you'll probably say Shondell or the boys. Is there anyone professionally that you've looked up to in your time, that has influenced your life? Like who's sort of, I don't know, maybe who gave you your first speaking gig, for example? Is there someone in the world that you went, you know what, outside of your close space and outside of all the strangers that helped? But is there a professional human that said, you've got this, Chad?
I don't know if he's professional or not. When I was hurt, I stopped going to church. And I'm easy to stop believing,
of course,
or having faith when you have so much loss. Let's say someone's lost their wife, or someone's lost a kid in a tragic drunk driving accident. So for me, things like this don't happen to people like me. So I stopped going to church. I'm just telling you, I didn't want people to have to come up and say, hey, how you do? I just didn't want even, I would introvert real quick. I did not want to talk to people. didn't want to socialize, I was good with my family and I was good. So I stopped, and the pastor would come over and he would try and get me to come back with my wife, because my wife went still with the kids, and she was, I just stayed at home and stayed in bed and watched football or rugby or whatever. And I just did it. But he asked me to come back one Sunday and to get up at the pulpit because the members needed to be thanked for all the service they've rendered for my family while I was in the hospital, because they took care of the ranch. So all the members of our congregation, they're the ones that came together, used their tractors, their diesel fuel, their horses, they used all that. So he didn't ask me to talk about Jesus. He didn't say I had to talk about God. He didn't say I had to talk about Moses or Noah or Malachi or any of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke. I didn't have to bring up any of that stuff. He just said, would you come and you don't have to say the name Jesus one time. Just come there and the people need to see you. They need to hear from you. And let me preface this with this. Anton, would you do things for others because you're unselfish that sometimes you won't do for yourself?
100%.
Me too. So I decided to go to church that one time. And I got up there and somebody held the microphone for me. And I did exactly as the pastor asked me to do. I thanked everybody, and I was sincere, and I was teary-eyed, and I just said, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I don't expect any of you to answer that. I don't want your pity or empathy. I'm struggling. I have a lot of pride. I realize that now. I don't like my relationship with Shondell. I'm struggling with that. I don't expect any of you to have the answers. I don't expect you to come up and talk to me about those. I don't want to know any of those things, but I do need to thank you all. I am a grateful person. I'm just struggling with stuff, but I am a grateful person. And there's a difference, and I want you all to understand that. And so thank you all for helping me. Thank you for being there for me. And that was it. And after I was done with that, you asked about one person. Somebody in the congregation came up to me, just someone who had a company. And he said, Chad, we're having our convention next week in Las Vegas. I want you to come and speak at our convention, talk about your accident. I have an idea on how you can help. And that's how it started for me. So my first speaking engagement ever came from me going to church, and then a bystander gets up and says, I want you to speak at my convention next week. We're going to pay you. I didn't know anything about this. I had no idea. You're what? You're going to pay me? We're going to pay for a first-class flight ticket. We're going to pay for your hotel, a dinner. You can bring somebody with you. I took my dad. I mean, that's what happened. And I went and I had notes. I had cheat notes. And he helped me out a little bit. And I told my story. We made a little video clip to show people what happened and then what I've learned from that and what I could have done to prevent it and what impact it's had on Shondell and being asleep for all these months. And my kids are little. And so and that one event then turned on to all other 40 branches that he had. And that right there took me all over the world. Now I want to stop right there, Anton, because here's how we're going to end this. Do you remember what I said to you a few minutes ago about how long I waited to go to church?
A long period.
Didn't.
You didn't know.
I didn't go. Which means I was robbing myself that whole time of what was right in front of me. Again, I'm not trying to be religious here. I just want people to understand that it's not that God takes away from us or that he punishes us. We rob ourselves because we don't see the people that we can help. So now I really try hard to be proactive and trying to look for places that I can, even though I can't get a shovel and dig a hole for a tree or plant a garden or mow the lawn or pull weeds or do the dishes or I can't even watch one of my grandchildren. I cannot babysit my grandchildren. But if I can focus on doing whatever it is I can do, that's enough. That's enough. I just have a hard time accepting that sometimes, but that's enough. So what I'm asking people to do is to stop robbing yourself. Because I robbed myself for months because I wouldn't go to God's house. And as soon as I went to God's house, the doors just started opening up for me. Now, again, I'm not trying to tell people to go to God's house. I'm just saying you open up the door to God however you want, and I believe things will start happening for you. I'm not saying you have to go to a church house or a church building. I'm just saying you might want to drop to your knees and thank him once in a while. You might want to open up his book and read a little bit about it. You might want to, I don't know, just there are several ways to put God in your life. And once I started doing that, I'm not saying that all my problems have gone away. They haven't. I have lots of challenges, but I found a purpose, and that's what I needed. And I still have that today. I needed a purpose to not put a gun to my head, right? So I just want people to understand that we rob ourselves. We take it away. It's not that someone is out there to get us or somebody in the heavens wants us to live a miserable life. That's not it. We take it from ourselves. And all we have to do is have a seed of faith. I think's what the book says. Just a little seed, just a tiny bit.
A seed of faith. Chad, yeah. I'm gonna do a summary of what I've learnt for our listeners and our viewers. I'm gonna come back to you in a minute time, and I'll get you to finish off, mate, with something else powerful for our viewers. Thank you. Okay. So, team, probably one of the most powerful conversations I've had forever. And just grateful that Chad was able to make the time for us today, and yeah, just really, really impactful, I guess. Talk about influence. I think Chad's had an influence on me in the last 45 minutes, and I hope Chad's had an influence on you. Chad started this conversation talking about, what happened, what it was like. Maybe not so much what it was like, but what happened for 48 minutes, slowly suffocating under a bale that could have taken his life. And he was just lucky that some natives were able to be contacted and come and rescue him. And Chad talked about, where that's led into now to, and I get leadership retreats because that's what we do, but Chad does them on his ranch. And Chad's so grateful for his boys, his adopted two, and obviously Shondell, his amazing wife. And I love where we got really, really quickly into when Chad travels, relying on strangers. And Chad's been to Aussie, go the Aussie. Knows a little bit about our great country, and I love how Chad was able to bring that into the conversation. Shows that, Chad's thinking about other people and thinking about our listeners and viewers, not just himself. And so that's really, really, everything's very symbolic, team. You listen to how people communicate, and you listen to what's going on a level or two deeper, and there's so much to it. And that's the mental background. And Chad talks about the mental background, the hours you don't see, and those hours that you've got to sort of put into getting your head right. And Chad's so grateful for people, which is really powerful, and talked about a lot about relationships. And then I think the last probably 5 or 10 minutes, we really unpacked this element of proactivity and proactive kindness, proactive service, and 1 + 1 = 3. Sometimes I say when things are synergistic, 1 + 1 = 11, but I like 1 + 1 = 3 for Chad. But just, Chad challenged us all listening to this, speaking on the podcast, to go and text someone, and to not only text someone, but to recognize those close to us, because you get more of what you recognize. Behavior that's rewarded and recognized is repeated. Don't belittle people. Just think about how you can lift people up, which I think is just freaking gold. Thank you, Chad. Chad's been good enough to offer a book and some information. There's going to be some click links below. We're going to put Chad's Insta click below, and we're also going to put a link to Chad's ranch below. But how powerful was it for Chad to talk about, don't rob yourself. Do not stop robbing yourself of the ability to serve. And I love how Chad said, find God in something, in somewhere. It might not be in God's house, but as someone who was raised Catholic, I get that, and find that seed of faith. Chad, words of wisdom to finish off for our amazing viewers and listeners, pretty please.
Well, I would just maybe close with this: ask people to focus on what they do have and not on what they've lost. I think I've lost everything in my life, at least a few times. Right? If you focus on what you've lost, you end up staying stuck there. But if you focus on the little bit you still have, more comes to you in the process. So if you want to honor a death of a family member, or divorce, or maybe bankruptcy, you honor the loss by the way you change and live your life moving forward. Otherwise, you're going to stay bankrupt. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck in the divorce. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck mourning the loss of a child. I'm not saying you shouldn't mourn. That's probably a lifelong process. But there's a lot of people that have lost a lot, and they honor those losses by doing some amazing things with foundations to honor those losses, that's what I'm talking about. So don't put a high number on your losses. Otherwise you're going to live a pretty hard life, you know.
Sad existence.
Yeah, a sad existence. Yes, a sad existence. You're right.
Chad Hymas, the most powerful podcast conversation I've had in 150. So massive gratitude to you. Thank you so very much. Hopefully one day I'll be able to pay it forward to you and repay the favor for what you've given me and our listeners and our viewers today. Team, you've been listening to the Find Your Influence podcast with Anton Guinea. Please subscribe. Don't be one of those people that don't subscribe. And please tune in for further amazing conversations with people like Chad Hymas.
Thank you for listening or viewing our Find Your Influence podcast with Anton Guinea. Another great chat. Please be one of the 10% of people who follow and subscribe and like our videos so that you can get more of them and you can hear more of our amazing conversations, the conversations that I get to have and that I get to share.